Hi guys, it's Evelyn from Twin Flames 3344. I have a Divine Masculine Twin Flame read for you today. Some really unbelievable stuff came through, so please stay tuned. Alright, so it is the 29th today, December 29th, 2018. 29 is the Three of Wands. It's about, in the Twin Flame journey, it's about staying present as opposed to looking to the future, right? Because we're staying present and we're not looking at outcomes. So it's really about seeing the present moment and the beauty in it. And of course, we're still in December, which is the Hangman, and being wise, seeing things from a different perspective. And the day adds up to 52-7, which is the Queen of Swords. I just see 44. The Queen of Swords is definitely coming up in the read today. And she's all about the truth, but there's not much affection there, but she has a lot of integrity, okay? But she's been hurt a lot. So she could be in mourning as well, okay? So that's the energy of today, is staying present, and if you have those emotions, just sitting with them and dealing with them and being truthful, just being honest with yourself. So for the Divine Masculine today, which was done at 2:29, and today's 12:29, the major arcana were the Hanging Man, Higher Self, and Star were the three major arcana, but Luna, or the Moon, was under the underlying energy card, because I was extend out one card below the bottom of the deck. So Luna was there as well. And the L from Luna came out as part of the code, so that was very important for our message today. But the Hanging Man is the Hangman, Higher Self is the High Priestess, and then Star is the Star. There's one wand, 2 pentacles, 3 cups, and 2 swords. So pretty well distributed, but it airs on the side of cups, which is good for the masculine, because he needs to be more in his emotions and his heart space. And then we have the Queen of Wands, Knight of Pentacles, King of Cups, and Knight of Cups. So we have 2 knights, and 2 knights came up in the and some of the big clarification cards as well, side by side. So there's either 2 friends going out together. It could be the Divine Masculine and a friend or a brother, or it could be his kids going out together. I was definitely getting some energy of kids going out to parties or some nice dances in this energy right now, with New Year's coming up and Christmas parties. So again, that was Queen of Wands and King of Cups, Knight of Pentacles, and Knight of Cups. But Knight of Wands was coming up in the read as well. So, what Knight of Swords did it might have. Alright, so anyway, going into the codes. Number 3 was the major number for the codes. There wasn't much in numbers that came up, but 1, 2, 3, 2 came up, and that was pretty much it. But the sequence 1, 2, 3 came up. 1, 2, 3. And then 68 came up as well. High C came up in the codes, as well as the 3 of Cups. Han for Han Solo, and actually separately came up in the headings that I put in for the system. L came up, and my first response for L was Lucifer, but also Lilith was coming up even more so. Han TV came up, which I didn't know anything about it, but that came up in the coding. It's a TV station in Alberta, in Canada. So really, that was what's coming up. And actually, the Divine Masculine has been referred to as Han Solo many times in my coding, so that can be considered as code for the Divine Masculine. But Lilith, and having to do with the Divine Masculine, was coming up today. And then Han TV from Alberta, Canada, which just is about that area in Canada, their TV station. But it's all about coming together. It's about the third parties. It's about joy. It's about celebration. And it's about High C was coming up, and specifically orange High C. But also just telling you, take extra doses of vitamin C, which I'm going to tell you for sure, because my father's a doctor, and we grew up taking a multivitamin and vitamin C every day. And you know, vitamin C won't hurt you. You know, it goes through you if you get enough. So, also Ooh, Coke and IC were coming up as promoters of Star Wars. I think this is some older stuff, you know, where they used to give away free glasses with stuff like that on them at the fast food restaurants. But that was coming up as well, so you might have something like that, like a glass with Han Solo on or something like that. Also, there was a little stress, nervousness, like a hurry up, like nervousness when I was starting to read, and also the cards were a little bit choppy, but mostly smooth. There's a couple like choppy points there, but mostly it was smooth. And also headache is a common theme today, and I don't usually get headaches, so I know it's a message for you guys, okay? So like I said, Lu and Lilith were coming up. Definitely dark water and dark energies. The Coven energy was coming up as well yesterday and today in the cards. The coding had to do, one of the codes was Han TV's spot from Solo, a Star Wars story. That was from 2018, and it said underneath, during adventure into dark criminal underworld, Han Solo meets his future co-pilot Chewbacca, which is funny, my son who just left, his nickname is Chew because he's Matthew, encounters Lando Calrissian, I'm sorry I don't know all the characters, years before joining the rebellion. Okay, and that came from imdb.com. Another heading that came up was case in point, neonatal ICU problem with bacterial infection. So that might be coming up for someone. They're referencing that two out of three infants died from the bacterial infection. And it was funny because this was coming up from a church site talking about germs and sharing the chalice at church. And that came from msgboard.snopes.com. Another heading was from the Richmond Times, Virginia, 1914 to current, which is funny because my grandfather was born in Richmond. And then import duties of Haiti came up, and here we have Lu and Lilith and Haiti coming up, okay? And also one of my friends, my daughter's best friends is from Haiti, who stops by to see me sometimes. Also probation and chalice theft came up. So somebody might have stolen a chalice from a church, but probation. So there's a lot of this illegal, sneaky energy and dark energies coming up right now. Orange is the new black then came up when I referenced back to the headings again. Orange is the new black came right through, especially since orange juice and vitamin C was coming up. And then Lilith came up as a heading, okay? And it was coming up with the symbols of I and then IO, which is funny because that's the Wheel of Fortune. But then I saw the O as an oval as opposed to an O when I show you pi is the integration of the masculine and feminine within, because the O is the source energy contained by the human body, and then the line through the middle is that balance of the masculine and feminine. And the way they symbolize Lilith was I oval with a line the other way. So that was pretty cool, this symbolically. And then of course the Hebrew symbols, which I didn't write down. But dangerous demons of the night, sexually wanton, and who steal babies in the darkness. Okay, so now I don't know much about Lilith. Of course I've heard of her and have heard people talking a little bit about her before, but I didn't know, I'd never researched Lilith myself. And this heading was coming up from enwikipedia.org. Another heading came up from whitcombs.sbc.edu, and that was number 7 about Lilith, Eve and Lilith, okay? Midrash information from the Hebrew archives. So some of the information that was coming up was Lilith was the first wife, of course, that was talked about. So there's different interpretations of this, okay? But in some interpretations, Lilith was considered the first wife of Adam, who rebelled and then abandoned Adam. And then God created Eve to take her place because she wouldn't come back. So of course, there's all sorts of stories about how she was then shunned. God threatened to kill her first 100 children or whatever, unless she went back, and then she didn't. So, and then there's another interpretation where she didn't agree with Adam, so they ended up going to the judge, and Lilith said Jehovah, so she was banished, or she just vanished, because you're not allowed to say Jehovah. And then Lilith said she was created to harm newborn infants, but wouldn't if they had an amulet with the 3 angels that had come to her to try to get her to come back on it. So those are some of the stories behind Lilith. But she's also likened to Lamashta and Lamia, killing children, drinking blood of men and eating their flesh, miscarriage, disturbed sleep and nightmares. Lamia is supposed, in another language, is considered Lilith. That she seduced young men. And then Lamia or Lamia, however it's pronounced, is considered to be interpreted as a screech owl or night monster. And then Lilith offspring would be considered the succubi, where the incubi would be the masculine, okay? Who would she was considered to copulate with men in their sleep, causing wet dreams. So that's where that story comes from. But all of this led to some very interesting information. So I'm hoping you're here with me listening. Okay, so around you have to understand in modern times and now, we would interpret all this stuff that came up about Lilith as, you know, what women were blamed for back then. Sudden death, miscarriage, wet dreams, the woman's independence from the man, not wanting to lie underneath, all that kind of stuff would then bring up all of these explanations of who she was. So can you really believe what was told? Lilith, greater so though than Eve, is considered personified the female sexuality, and that Eve was more naive and just foolish, okay, because she was naive. Lilith considered dark, nighttime, fear, vulnerability, evil, men's fear of the female's sexuality. The temptress, the dominatrix. Oh, so the symbol of Lilith is a statue of a head to the waist of a beautiful woman, and then her lower half is just the burning fire, waist down, or the serpent energy. And this is where I got a download. This was very clear because I have more explanation that Lilith, which she actually is the third energy. She is the Kundalini. She is there's literally a statue of Lilith standing between Adam and Eve. She is the third energy. That's what Lilith is. Let me see what else I wrote here. So this was everything then. I love how Spirit does this. All right, I watched a movie, Live Wild, last night. And then what else came up? So many different things came up as far as references and movie titles and all that kind of stuff. But Lilith is not the first wife, but the quanta, from Adam to Eve, the empty space that you can't measure. That's what Lilith is, the jump from Adam to Eve, the catalyst energy of God, the third energy, the Kundalini rising out of the moon, the dark, and the nothingness of the feminine energy to create, from the divine masculine to create the feminine. So if the masculine twin is not incarnate, not the divine masculine, but any masculine in history, then he would have wet dreams because his twin on the other side with the third energy, would want to bond with him. She'd want to be with him. The divine masculine's, or the divine feminine's wild energy, when she meets her one and only, her divine masculine, that is the Lilith energy, the third energy. So tell me what you think about that, because there's no question in my mind when that was coming through. So, what else came up? There was another movie that came up. What did I just watch? Oh, Perfume. So not only about Lilith did Live Wild come up, which is a beautiful movie about wild flowers, but it's coming up in reference to Lilith. And then Perfume, which is about the smell, the harvesting. In the movie, it was just 444. In the movie Perfume, they were harvesting the scent of women who attracted men to use for perfume, and they were actually starting to cut out the armpits and the vaginal area for the, I guess, the lymph glands, to make the perfume more intense so it would last longer. Okay, so all of these energies are coming up around Lilith. Okay, confessing. So the masculine read starts out with Queen of Wands in the underlying energy, and I wanted to bring this up too. The Page of Wands, that was the main court card in the read yesterday, that I did yesterday, in the Sirian Starseed deck. The Page of Wands, who I always see as a boy, because he has a mask on. It's very tribal, and there's a flame inside of them. This is representative of Lilith. Okay, that she looks like a boy, but she's in disguise. It's kind of like Barbara Streisand in, what's the movie where she pretended to be a boy so that she could learn? That's Lilith. And Spirit's connecting with me. Really cool. Okay, it was just 1551 too, which is the King of Swords, and today is the Queen of Swords. Okay, so it's bringing together the energy between the King and Queen of Swords. So the Queen of Wands and the underlying energy is confessing sins and going back to the wounded warrior. Lu and Lilith, Adam and Eve, fighting for her wounds. She is dark and emotional, using dark emotions to manipulate the tide. The karmic who feels her partner's third energy, or Lilith, becomes out of control in some way, whether it's jealousy or sexually or whatever it is. So this is just energy that was coming up for me as I was reading. The Five of Swords guy, or the enemy, is out for a fight. TV antenna up to tune into new passionate growth from the Queen of Cups. So whether this enemy is the Queen of Wands, or it could even be the masculine energy, but this is the Five of Swords guy, right? But I was getting it as the Queen of Wands, so that she can get a hold of the stinger, or the potent part, and that's when the movie Perfume came up. The karmic in the energy harvesting is trying to get a hold of that perfume, you know, our third energy, because it's so valuable, the sweetness and the honey. The Queen of Cups feels the heat rises as she grounds and expands in meditation. The Ace of Wands, the Queen of Cups, Kundalini. Enemy hones in on the Queen of Cups antenna to get his ideas. Okay, so whoever it is, this Five of Swords guy, it could be the masculine, it could be the Queen of Wands as well. But the King of Wands was in here too. The King of Wands looks back, realizing the Hermit shed light on sadness, loss, regret, and grief. Retreat comes up in the underlying energy for the masculine. Unrequited love was below that. A violin and olive branch. Twisted pillars. Twisted sister comes up here. So there may be, some of the masculines may have a sister that's a little twisted. Of Michael Jackson comes up here. Latoya, or his half-sister, Giovanni Jackson, was coming up. Superfly's sister is something from Michael Jackson as well. Blood on the Dance Floor. All of this was coming up around this. And then, damn it, Janet came up, because Janet's Michael's sister, but also came up from Rocky Horror Picture Show. Damn it, Janet. Twisted romance, burdens, confessions are out about twins at night while karmic is sleeping, or karmic is plotting revenge with the man in the mirror by sticking pins in his twin, using him to get her. And energy stealing or harvesting at the fuller new moons. Separation is coming up here as well, and HARP. Okay, so HARP could be a government loan, but it's also specifically coming up as the definition from dictionary.com as a triangular frame formed by sound box, a pillar, which already came up just now, and a curved neck having strings stretched between the sound box and the neck that are plucked. Frame of the, so there's a frame, a triangle frame of musician or blabbermouth who harps, and a pillar of the community, or so they seem, and a curved neck of a chicken, who, and also the harp was coming up with a hollow back. The chicken with a neck, the curved neck, and a hollow back, no courage. With strings between the sound box of the feminine and the neck of the chicken, or the cords. How cool is that? So, and then the strings, of course, played at night. He plucks her strings. So the Queen of Swords comes up here as the divine feminine, the divine masculine, and Cancer. So Cancer energy was coming up in the karmic, although it doesn't have to be a Cancer, that was coming up. And there may be someone around the divine masculine's family who's dealing with cancer. It's very common these days, especially with breast cancer and things like that. So, I mean, you know, with the statistics, I mean, everyone has someone with cancer in their family, even just breast cancer. So, Lobster's pearl, he puts away at day and admires her at night. Lobster is the divine masculine. His pearl, he puts away during the day and he takes it out to admire it at night. Then parenting comes up as the underlying energy for the masculine really strongly, but also underneath that compassion around parenting. And it wasn't just about him parenting his children, it was about his parents, because that's been coming up a lot. And it comes up a little bit in this read, but it was really strong earlier when I did the read today, earlier. The Knight of Pentacles armors self to offer a payoff. The Knight of Wands, or the King of Wands, thinks back fully armed with wand and stinger. The worst is over now that the Blue Jays have flown south. So I don't know if that's a sports thing, but someone might reference that. There's right shoulder pain coming up, as well as brown boots again with laces, green pants or tights, and a red skirt. Two trees on a bench, 2 trees or pillars on a bench surrounded. Take down or take up, uptake. Just him and Bambi now, waiting for the new moon to get started. Okay. So the Cancer, very strongly in the underlying energies here was just Cancer, feminine with fire, and Virgo, masculine with fire and lots of air. That's all that came up. Usually a lot more signs come up than that in the underlying energies, but that was it today. But mostly Cancer energy. The King and Queen of Wands were coming up together here in the underlying energy. Go back to the green, but can never go back there at all. So that comes up from Billy Joel. They get an offer for payoff or loan or refinancing, and HARP came up, which is government refinancing, from a Knight of Pentacles. Or the King of Wands possibly gives a loan or loans money to the Queen of Wands for a new start. The King of Wands is done. He's ready for a new life. Sad to see them go. So then I was getting not the Emperor Empress, although they can be the Emperor and Empress, so their parents who may have been staying with them. I was getting King of Cups and Queen of Swords. So this can actually be the masculine and the karmic, or it could even be the masculine and his sister. Okay, coming up here. There's a King and Queen of Wands, but I'm not necessarily getting that as the divine masculine and his karmic, although it could be. So whatever your situation fits, one or both wands, and then here's a couple who's leaving, who were staying with them. It looks like their parents were leaving. The King of Cups and the Queen of Swords. And the masculine's father was coming up in my read earlier as the King of Cups reversed, so it very much could be his father or father-in-law, that they were staying with them and then leaving. So maybe sisters are parting after the holidays, or the King and Queen of Wands and the Queen of Cups sister say goodbye to their parents, leaving. Twins retreat to their parents' house, so some twins may be staying with their parents. So they retreat to a parent or to a parent's house. The Queen of Wands and Queen of Cups, also Queen of Swords, are in this read, at the base of the read. Queen of Wands, Queen of Cups, and Queen of Swords. With Queen of Swords separate from the Queen of Wands and Queen of Cups. Queen of Wands, Queen of Cups were side by side. And also with the Cancer, King of Cups, Aquarius energy, which definitely was the Emperor earlier. So that could be the father who's coming up here. But having compassion for the parents. Recently, the Queen of Swords and the King of Cups were in cold weather, or be left out in the cold, but without option. I wasn't getting that someone kicked them out or anything. They're just leaving and it's cold out. But without option to start a new life and roughing it. So maybe parents sold their house and are now living in a different way, okay? And minimalizing their life, or minimizing. The foundation had to do with the divine masculine hanging out, that the worst is over with a Leo, but feeling weak in separation. Or a Leo had heart surgery, so I was coming up also that Aquarius father could be a Leo as well. So I was getting that some of those fathers may have just had heart surgery and they're recovering, and that's why they're out in the cold now, you know, kind of roughing it, because he's now healing. Also could be on heartache and working with kids or twin. This is for the Divine Masculine. The Queen of Cups is taking a break, centrally in the heart of the matter for the masculine, in knowing the High Priestess or the higher self moves on, leading the way. No need to be defensive or obsess about the 5D. Okay? The challenge for the masculine is coming together. At work, he may be unsatisfied. Queen of Wands, spending his savings at work, or choosing a path of the world and transforming. So maybe they're trying to work together at least, even if they're not together anymore. The Queen of Wands is working, no longer can reap or wait, that she has to get a job. Now higher self, or she's been spending his money. Okay, so this is changing. Maybe she can't do that anymore, or spending her money, which was joint funds. Okay, so now the higher self, shadow moon, backing up, falling back into obsession or addictions. The Queen of Wands, nasty and out of control, wanting creative control and full expression to make the magic or the manifestation that he normally does. Lots of heated exchange about how to use his tools in the aftermath of a disaster, hearing the call of the Pied Piper, the Emperor reversed. So again, here's this father who just may be sick, or he could just be Emperor out of control. But she's coming up like her father as the Emperor out of control. Or he, as the Emperor control, no longer able to be there because he's sick, is kind of behind her, talking in her ear, telling her what to do. He's pushing her to do her thing so that she can, or the masculine may be pushing the karmic to do her thing and be more bold about it so that he can start over his life. Obsessed with hair, 5D, and crying or drinking too much. It's unfair of the Queen of Pentacles reversed, falling off the wagon again in lack. The Queen of Pentacles wants to rescue her and offer love at work, trying to wake her up, but the twin transformation is the truth. Big surprise coming up. There's a nightmare for the Queen of Wands due to the fact that he holds a flame, but it's not hers. Soon the Knight of Pentacles makes an offer of truth and meditation and of new love and self-love, an opportunity to express his feelings in a confession or about his burdens. Offer for home, the Knight of Swords riding in, and the angel to the rescue, who's in their knowing. So the Knight of Swords is riding in with truth, an angel to the rescue, in their knowing. He is the King of Cups here. He sees himself as the King of Cups, but he's also coming up as the Page of Pentacles, as his inner child. Truth of sneakiness and scam or payout. Opportunity to heal family issues, and now have a reconciliation. Around him, or seen as, is anxiety or scared. Independent one holding back passions, deliberating, deceptions, and an offer of a new love. The Divine Masculine is being called to clear blocks about healing and dreams, about the Aquarius Emperor, who may be sick, so he may not be able to count on him the way he did, or there may be a business that may be falling apart. But the Emperor resting, stuck in his head with emotions without affection from extended family and legacy. And this is coming from the Divine Masculine, what he needs to clear. The parents out in the cold, but together, and him avoiding his issues with karmic, who wants him out of there. So there could be situations where the karmic is trying to kick him out, or he's trying to kick her out. But he's also a situation where he's seeing his parents, how everything's changing with them, where maybe they used to live with a lot of money, and now they're scaling down to something very minimal because they have to, because of maybe they've spent a lot of money on medical bills, and now they don't have a lot. But he sees how happy they still are together, making it work, and he's seeing things in a different way. So self-love and self-discipline are coming up for the Divine Masculine as really important for him. The Knight of Cups is emotional. There's a nightmare, Queen of Wands, Cancer energy, in love with herself. The King of Swords seeing synchronicities everywhere, with his eye on the prize, the 5D life, but he must deal with the kids in karmic first. The King of Swords is orchestrating balance around him, while the Queen of Wands is excited to go slow with orange juice and going out with girlfriends. Or it could be an older child going out, and the younger one is feeling left out at night, so spending time with their loving father. kids going out to a dance or a formal, being reminded to take their vitamin C and stay warm. Okay, and then there's a side note that came up too. It wasn't really part of the read, but there's some cards that came up out afterwards, which were referencing just the masculine, how he's thinking on a side note about his insecurities, being stubborn, and walking away to offer love to someone who may not take it. So his, his insecurities flaring up. The Queen of Wands and Queen of Cups with the King of Cups, anxious for new life of knowing and coming together for proposal to Dream Girl, High Priestess, to offer love and balance. The Queen of Wands' new life is pending, hanging out in knowing about the High Priestess. The King of Cups proposal, but anxious about dreams and healing, and Dream Girl, offer of love and balance. Okay, so either way, it sounds like things are playing themselves out naturally, and that whether the karmic knows or is on board or not, that things are definitely happening, and it sounds like a lot of the karmics are aware of the divine feminine, and actually they're working things out to make it happen. Okay, so I'm just gonna pull some extra quick cards for you guys, and then that'll be it for today. I'm gonna use the traditional Rider-Waite, and I'm losing my voice, so you guys need to speak. All right, this is for the masculine. You need to speak your truth. Take a deep breath, guys. Clear and align. Clear and align. Clear and align. Clear and align. All right, what do the divine masculine twin flames need to know here? What is the message for everyone? And this is kind of sticking out. And I'll take it. Okay, that comes out again. That makes sense. Okay, so the bottom of the deck is the Empress reversed, and she was coming up reversed earlier also. Okay, so that's about being in lack. And then we have this. This is the card that came up for the Queen of Wands, spending money. Spending, whether it's her savings or his savings. But here we have the Empress reversed, okay, so, which also could reference to, there's a payout here. This is the bottom of the deck. Okay, so we have the Six of Pentacles, and then the Wheel of Fortune, and then again here we have this no more reaping rewards or sitting on your laurels. You have to get back to work or invest into the next level of what's going on. Okay, and then we have the Empress reversed. So there's a lot of lack mentality here. It's possible somebody could have miscarried, but there was a payout here or some kind of scam or deception. Okay, that's this card, because then Divine Wheel came in, and I said that earlier, that don't worry, everything is being divinely orchestrated. Okay, so it's about no more reaping rewards, no more waiting. It's time to either spend your money on something for you, or to spend it on reinvesting in your business or whatever it is. But we have the Empress. All right, so this could be just a mother who's sick. Okay, or a mother, like I said, who could have had a miscarriage, or it just could be someone who's in lack mentality and is spending money that you don't have to spend. Okay, or it could be somebody really nasty. It could be a nasty boss at work, or a nasty parent, mother or mother-in-law. Just depends on the masculine. So the first things that came out for the masculine are the Devil. This was like, really not wanting to go back into the deck, okay? So the Devil reverse is about detoxing and finding peace, peaceful water. So this is really beautiful coming up together. Finding a peaceful place. It could be letting go of the animosity between people who've separated or divorced, and maybe shipping kids back and forth, and so letting go of the fight and the war, and any addictions, codependencies, and finding peace. So that's really good. And then we've had this every time for the masculine coming out now. Okay, this is the new life. It's finding complete contentment, offer of money or a loan or a new life. And then the King of Wands came out, which was in the deck. Okay, so this could be the masculine, but it also could be someone who's instrumental in his life right now. It could be a friend, a brother, a partner who's helping him out. Okay. Okay, so the King of Wands, he's the man of passion. He's very physical and boisterous and creative. Okay, so this is the energy for either masculine or someone who's around him right now. There's definitely coming up the read as the King and Queen, which could be his brother and his wife, or him, or it could be a friend and his wife, that kind of thing. And then the Sun came up reversed, so somebody's feeling drained, after the holidays with everyone around. So as a twin, you definitely feel drained with all the energies around you. So that's a given. Or it could be someone who's sick, Or it could be the kids draining you, right? Running around like crazy kids, a whole bunch of them in the house. Or like I said, it could be the father who's been ill with, someone might have had heart surgery, so that was definitely coming up in the read as well. And then we have this, which is okay. This is about the stress after the holidays, to let it all out and cry. It's saying, oh, for the masculines, it's okay to cry. You need to. You need to experience the pain and go through it. You can't go around it or avoid it. The only way for your vibration to rise and you integrate it is to go through it. Allow the crying out. If you need to punch a pillow, that's fine too. But just don't take it out on other people. Remove yourself and go somewhere else and cry or get mad. But let it out. Let it out. Shout, let it all out. Okay? That's all coming up for you guys. So please comment below. I want to hear what you think about Lilith and all that kind of stuff. Okay? Drink your water, get your rest, do your best with these energies. Have an amazing new year if you don't watch again. And rise and be loved. If you need anything from me, everything's below. Oh, I did want to show you the pictures. This is the entire read, and I'll show you the just the main cards as well. All right, so that's the entire read with the clarifiers. And then I have, this is the read that is posted. Okay. All right, guys. Rise and be loved. Bye.